Hello, Starcraft fans! This is FalconPaladin coming to you with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. This is a game between CranK and on Bridgehead, the latter edition. CranK, if you don't know, is a professional StarCraft 2 player from Korea who goes random on the Legacy of the Void ladder. He played Protoss in Heart of the Swarm, so I think that's his strongest race, but he's really good with Terran and Zerg as well, which is good because he got Terran this game. Alright, on the right side of Bridgehead, the latter edition, we have the red Terran player. It is CranK. And on the left side of Bridgehead, the latter edition, we have the blue Terran player. It is who I have been told is top. Now, has featured in a lot of the games from Legacy of the Void at the GM level that I have cast. And I've tried to contact Top or or whatever he wants to be known as on Twitch. Try to say, hey, you want to be a featured player on my channel? I have almost 1,500 subscribers. Maybe by now I do have 1,500. I don't know. But if you want to get some more viewers towards your Twitch channel, go ahead and send me replays. But he hasn't responded. I don't know if people get a lot of spam in their Twitch inboxes or what, but my response rate for messaging people on Twitch is like 1%. I mean, it feels really low. I got Puck to respond there, and I think that's about it of all the people I've contacted. So if you have any ins, I'll put the link to H's Twitch stream in here. Top or whatever it is. I think it's, I'm trying to remember what he goes by on Twitch. According to somebody on Reddit, that is the correct link to the Twitch channel. And it's a Terran player playing Legacy of the Void at a pretty high level. So again, check him out. See if it's somebody you'd like to see on the channel, and perhaps message him as well. Alright, so TVT on Bridgehead, the latter edition. We'll see what CranK has up his sleeve here. His TVT is pretty darn strong. The last one we saw, it was, I think, again, CranK versus It pretty much turned into Marine Tank, using the tank's ability to be in siege mode while transported by a medevac, not having to switch back and forth between siege mode and regular tank mode. Really was very useful for CranK in that particular replay. Pretty early expand here for one base play right now for CranK. So we'll have to see if the same strategy again, or perhaps if had something else in mind here. There is a factory coming up for both players though. They're getting Marines, they're getting SCVs. I think this might be that same strategy. TVT seems to be a pretty static matchup. I mean, for a while there in Heart of the Swarm, we did see kind of a mech versus bio kind of a play. What is going on here? Oh, Reaper hops over the rocks, gonna get a free SCV kill here. And good play there by getting rid of that guy, swooping on up into the main. Follow him around, perhaps another SCV kill, indeed, trying to get it, but the Marines are here to save the day that chased that dude away, hopping over the rocks again. Can he did hop over those rocks. Have I seen that before? I don't know, I feel like I have. Oh, good play here, making CranK think that he'd left, but the Reaper comes back in, gets another kill, 2 kills on that Reaper. Excellent play indeed. I say 2 kills is pretty good for a Reaper in this matchup, especially because there are Marines out. Run away, Reaper, run for your life. KD8 charge. I think he killed himself with a KD8 charge there. That might have been a misclick. I think he tried to get the KD8 charge to knock the Marines back, but instead he dropped it right at his own feet, tried to run away, got blown up. It does 10 damage and knocks all the units back in that radius. I think all he had was about 10 units of health, 10 hit points. What am I playing here? Dungeons and Dragons? 10 hit points left on that Reaper, and he died. So pretty fun stuff there. Barracks on the way. Command center is finished. Orbital command here as well for Picking up a siege tank, indeed. Siege tank out of that factory with the tech lab. Meanwhile, CranK is going for an engineering base, so this might actually be more of a bio play from CranK today. We are picking up a Widow Mine, indeed. Widow Mine, medevac, Marines, Hellions. This is kind of a more standard bio type play with drops for CranK than we might expect. I don't see any tanks at all. So, alright. Hellions, I think, going to harass the front door while there's a small drop from CranK with a Widow Mine and 6 Marines at the back door. So let's follow these guys, see what they're going to do here. Whoop. Production tab there. Getting right up, taking some tank shots though. And that's the end of that harassment. As the units come back over here to catch that backdoor stuff. Viking shot on the medevac. Taking it down pretty darn quickly. 1 more shot, 2 more shots from the Viking, and it's going to fall. No, CranK keeps it alive. The Marines are on the ground, and they are looking for blood. They're going to try to take down this supply depot. The Viking does get the kill there on that medevac, and now the Marines are alone in the world, but they get a Marine kill. They're going to kill another one of these SCVs. These SCVs are forced to retreat. No mining is happening whatsoever on this orbital command. SCVs falling left and right. The tank does take out that Widow Mine. 2 tanks here and 2 Marines, as well as a Viking. slowly sieging up the tanks in range of the other siege mode from the back tank. They're going to try to, yep, getting shots off on those Marines. Kind of keep them backed into a corner here. There's not really anywhere for them to go. No medevacs nearby to swoop them away to safety. Good zoning here by Han. Slowly moving on up, trying to catch these Marines. The Marines want to kill another SCV before they die, and do they get it? They do not. The Marines are cleared up there by CranK. So units lost tab shows 5 SCVs have died for Han. A Reaper and 4 Marines. Meanwhile, CranK has lost a medevac, 6 Marines, 2 Hellions, 2 SCVs, and a Widowmine. So at this point, I feel like Han might be in the lead. And yes, Han has lost fewer resources than our friend CranK. So who knows who's going to win this game. It's 2 base right now. 39 to 38 total harvesters. CranK's down in total supply 68 to 52. Composition might just be a little bit too good right now for Han. Tanks are amazing. And CranK just seems to be foregoing making them entirely at this point. He wants to stick with the bio play. And now if you're going to do this in a TVT, your bio needs to be mobile and needs to be attacking all different places at the same time, killing multiple bases, while the mech is slowly trying to push out and trying to kill you all in one big fell swoop. So it's kind of a game of cat and mouse, where the cat would be considered the meching player and the mouse would be considered the bio player. But in the end, it really just comes down to micro, good decision making, and good control. Who can get more splash damage from the tanks onto the bio play, onto those Marines, and how we can use the mobility of the bio to abuse the immobility of the mech. So flying back and forth here is this Viking going to get some shots off on these medevacs. They might just boost in anyway, though. Nope, running away, boosting out. Rather, Viking goes back to patrolling, saying, I did my job. That's exactly what I needed to do. Good positioning here by CranK on this high ground. And another base coming up for CranK, just about to finish there as we zoom back on in. Third base anywhere near here for The answer is no. Combat shields, stim on the way. +1 infantry attack, as well as +1 infantry attack and combat shield on the way for CranK. And now CranK is getting tanks. All right. So the tanks are coming out. So we're not going pure bio here. It looks like the Marine tank medevac composition he had in game 1 between these two players. I think that was an SCV. Yep, scouting SCV ends up dead here, sparking on the ground before it melts into the grass and the dirt. And a small push out here for CranK. I don't think this is defensive, although the siege tank just went into siege mode. So this might be defensive on this bridge. Yep, reason this is called Bridgehead is because there are bridges. Bridge there, bridge here, bridge here, bridge here, bridge here, bridge here. Lots of bridges everywhere. Another kind of a bridge, more of a ramp though, but scans back and forth using the siege tanks to fly around in siege mode, being picked up by the medevacs here, and that's exactly what Han is doing. So this has turned into another standard Marine dropping siege tank play. And I think this might turn into a base race. Both players are on opposite sides of the map, dropping, stimming right on in are the Marines. They're going to deny this base very, very quickly. Wants to get those mines or those mules out, and here comes CranK, not worrying about the attack back home, dropping down the siege tanks in an optimal position to kill Marines. Marines at the front running right on in. And yes, just laying waste to everything that is here. These essentially inside the main base of Han, which does not bode well for our blue Terran player at all. All the Marines are getting massacred for CranK standing in here with a +1 attack with the stim, with the combat shield, taking out add-ons, forcing a liftoff, forcing a retreat of all of the SCVs. Can't decide what to do. Decides to come back home to try to defend. There are tanks on the high ground here for CranK. That might have been it to actually save him. Meanwhile, all of these production buildings are going down. The tanks with 7 kills and 8 kills each. Marines being stutter-stepped back and forth. The SCVs trying to come in a desperate bid from Han to win this game. I just don't know what he can do. There we go. Gonna drop the tanks at the back. Use the SCVs to absorb damage. The tanks going after this Marine ball, and they do clean up all the Marines, but all the SCVs are dying at the same time too, picking up the tank, keeping it alive. Good job by CranK there. 18 kills now on that tank. Han was able to evict CranK out of his base, but at what cost? Han only has 15 SCVs left. CranK has 41. CranK has 2 fully mining bases, and that's it. Han calls the GG. Han is defeated, and CranK is victorious. So, all right, pretty quick little game there. 9 minutes in Legacy of the Void, but again, if you look at the unit count there, if you look at what was lost, pretty darn quick compared to Heart of the Swarm in 9 minutes. All right, so Resources Lost tab shows a pretty solid story. Han lost 5,000 minerals, 700 gas. CranK somehow only lost 250 gas in that game. I guess maybe one of his tanks died. 2 of his tanks died there in a medevac. I think that's what that came down to. And about 3,200 minerals. So a lot of SCVs died down here. Marines as well. And that was pretty much it. So Thanks so much for watching today. This has been FalconPaladin with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook, all at /FalconPaladin. And until next time, as always, thank you for watching, and you take care of yourself.